Hi guys, I hope you're doing well and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought it might be interesting to go into the topic of Animal Crossing, which is one of my favourite games of all time, and I know many of you guys who watch it too also adore the series. And I know since obviously we had the release of New Horizons back in 2020, which I cannot believe is coming up to almost 5 years ago, it's a bit scary, but I know for those who have been lifelong Animal Crossing fans, there has been some debate in the community as to what is perhaps the best Animal Crossing game and what might be the fan favourites. So I thought I might dive into today the kind of like differences perhaps between New Leaf and New Horizons. Now personally, I'm not going to be biased here, but my personal favourite I have to say is probably New Leaf. Maybe partially because of nostalgia, but I will try not to be biased. Obviously with the release of New Horizons on Switch, we have been anxiously awaiting an Animal Crossing Switch release for many years, as New Leaf came out on the 3DS in 2017, which I cannot believe is 8 years ago now. And I must say New Horizons was in a way the Animal Crossing game we have been waiting for, but unfortunately it did fall flat in quite a few ways. And I think the main thing as to why we all sort of adored the game a lot of first was because of obviously lockdown, and we all the one thing we all turned to was Animal Crossing as a way to connect with our friends and to get through being stuck at home for so long during the pandemic. And I think once that kind of had lifted a bit and we had sat with the game for quite a few months, I think we all began to realise that perhaps New Horizons wasn't actually the Animal Crossing game we had been hoping for so long. Now I do love New Horizons, like I don't hate it, but there is something about it where I haven't gone back to it as much as I have done with say New Leaf. And I think there's just some elements missing from the game that New Leaf perhaps had. I know one big thing for me is the music in games, and I don't know why, I don't think I'm the only one here, I just don't love the music in New Horizons as much. Like, I much prefer the music to New Leaf, and I have actually before found myself sat with the music on YouTube on New Leaf whilst playing New Horizons. It sounds crazy, but I don't know why. I do find the music in New Horizons a little bit grating at times, and for me, I really love the nighttime tracks, but they just don't hit quite the same as New Leaf, and I think a lot of people probably agree with that. It's just, I don't know, they're just a bit annoying, and I know perhaps they were made to fit the vibe of being on an island, and they're not terrible, but for me, yes, the music is a big part of playing a game, and it just didn't hit quite the same. Another thing that obviously New Horizons gave us was the massive update of customization, being able to place items outdoors. Like, obviously you could customize items in New Leaf through Reese and Cyrus, but obviously it kind of brought it to a whole new level in New Horizons, and we could finally place items outdoors, which are absolutely crazy. We've been asking for that for years. Obviously in New Leaf we did have the whole Publix work. Sorry, my hair is not cooperating today, so I apologise if I keep touching it. Obviously we did have the whole Public Works project thing in New Leaf, which I really loved. I thought that was great. I did personally like that, and obviously we do have that kind of element in New Horizons whereby you can buy the sort of the Nook ticket items to place on your island. So that was one good thing, and obviously the way you can customise the outside of your house has been expanded a lot more. Some people have argued that New Horizons kind of feels more like a life decorating sim as opposed to an Animal Crossing game, because I know a big thing obviously with Animal Crossing is talking to your villagers and your islanders, and a lot of people, including me, don't really talk to who's on the island in New Horizons, just because their dialogue options are terrible, and you hear the same conversation about 10 times in a day, and I don't quite know what they did, why they kind of reduced the dialogue options for the characters so much. I mean, every character has its own personality. There is a set list of personalities for Animal Crossing characters, and like there is a genre of character called like Cranky or Snooty and stuff, and like they just don't quite fit that anymore. Like, they're not, like, the mean villager days are gone, which I really miss. And I know they're trying to market the game to kids, but it's just really dull and boring, and it kind of makes me a bit sad, and I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I just don't pick up New Horizons as much because like I don't feel like I connect with who's on my island anymore, because I'm just having the same bland conversations again and again, no matter what personality your islanders are. And I think that's what I really miss about New Leaf, is the kind of charm in that. And you know, I could talk to a mean villager and they would actually be mean to me, and it was kind of funny. So I have a list on my phone of like kind of things I wanted to talk about, and one of them I just have is terraforming shit. And I'm sorry, obviously it's great that we can customize our island and terraform, but my god, it is the most infuriating thing ever, and I kind of wish it wasn't there, because I feel like there's like this constant pressure to make your island like this incredible thing now with all these options. And like, I hate terraforming with a passion. It's just so clunky. I don't like it. I really haven't done much, like used it much on my island, and I don't know how you see people with these incredibly constructed islands. Like, I think I would have gone mad if I terraformed that much, to be fair. So in some regards I think there's like maybe a bit too many options with the customization, which maybe is a bit crazy to say. I don't know. Another random thing that I miss from New Leaf is Brazetti. Where has he gone? The only contact you get with Brazetti is the island rescue helicopter thing if you somehow get stuck on your island. Not that I've ever used that, and I don't know why they cut him out. Like, there's other special characters too, like Gracie the giraffe, she's not in it anymore. We have obviously LaBelle, she will come in front of like your sort of in your town square, and she kind of serves the same purpose as Gracie, but I really miss Gracie. Like, she had her own shop in obviously Nookingtons. Like, that is a good segue, because my god, the shop expansions in New Horizons, I don't understand why is there only one. Like, I remember when I got the first expansion and I was like waiting for days seeing if we were going to get another one, and there just wasn't. And we were all so confused as to why there was only one shop upgrade, whereas every other Animal Crossing game there has been multiple. And it still mystifies me to this day why they thought one was necessary. Like, it's not a bad shop, but I definitely think that they could have done at least another one. Yeah, that really does confuse me, and I kind of anytime I go back to playing New Leaf, I'm like, god, I miss this. I miss having like the multiple shops in between before you got to like the big department store. Like, that was so fun, and I really missed that vibe. So you had your big kind of like tree in your town square, and in a sense there was kind of like a sense of progression when you're kind of like creating your town and building things up. I don't know why, it just doesn't really feel like that again in New Horizons. Things kind of feel like they have a lack of purpose, perhaps. I mean, obviously you have to work to get KK on your island, and you know, do get like 3, 4, 5 stars. Like, I do have a 5-star island, but I'm not really sure. For some reason it just felt like that there was kind of like a lack of reason to do things. Again, I mean, we did get a lot of quality life improvements, and obviously we have another big element that's brought into the game was crafting, which is fun, but it is a bit frustrating that your tools, no matter what, always break, and I'm constantly going to be crafting new ones. Like, I kind of wish, you know, when you get a golden item that was it and it wouldn't break, but apparently that isn't the case, which seems a bit weird to me. Obviously New Horizons did bring in things. Obviously we got the Happy Home Designer back, which I do really love. Like, I adored the 3DS version of that game, and we have things like the Cap and Boat tours. So we do have kind of like other things going on in the game, but I think, especially as someone who has been a lifelong Animal Crossing fan, for some reason it's just kind of like hard to put my finger on it, but like, there was just a certain charm around New Leaf that New Horizons doesn't have. And maybe it was the fact that we all got super burnt out of it really quickly, and we played for hours and hours in the first few months. Maybe that was it. And perhaps, you know, Animal Crossing is all about a slow life, building up your town, your island in a slow way, and enjoying taking your time, getting to know the game and who's on your island. But I do think perhaps an element is that we all kind of rushed through the game, and perhaps we expected too much from it. So I mean, by no means do I hate New Horizons, but it certainly isn't going to be my favourite Animal Crossing game, and you know, I remember at the start they said, oh yeah, there were going to be 3 years of free updates, and that didn't happen. I mean, there were lots of things missing from the game, like diving and stuff, that we didn't get till nearly a year later. And, you know, I'm happy that those things are in the game, but there was a lot of stuff sort of missing. And I think, you know, I hope going forward, when we do eventually get another Animal Crossing installment, perhaps we don't have to wait so long for those things. And I don't know, I do kind of hope that sort of charm about it can return, and maybe the developers can take on board some of the comments that the community has made, because trust me, I'm sure that they have seen them. I'm sure that they have seen them. And I think, you know, if you are wanting to get into Animal Crossing, you know, I would say probably, you know, yeah, start with New Horizons, because it is on the Switch. It's probably the most accessible one, and things like that. But like, if you do feel a bit nostalgic and fancy going back, I'd definitely pick up New Leaf. I mean, I also love Let's Go to the City as well on Wii. I think that's a great, like, I think that's so underrated, and I kind of hope we get like a, I don't know, maybe a rehash of that sometime in the future. I think that would be really great. The thing I did really like about New Leaf was obviously we had Main Street, and we had kind of like a little separate like shopping area. So I don't know, maybe they need to do something like that again, so it doesn't all feel like so contained. I'm not really sure, but I mean, I still have high hopes for whatever Animal Crossing game we have coming up, probably on the next Switch console, I reckon. And I do kind of wonder how they're going to keep improving, but I think that's, you know, kind of the wonderful thing about Animal Crossing. You don't really need to change that much. It kind of does it for itself. I mean, one thing I really hope they do change is the character dialogue. Please bring back the mean villagers. They are like one of the things that make the whole game. But that was my little ramble about Animal Crossing, and I'm intrigued to know what you guys think in the comments. Like, what's your favourite Animal Crossing game? When did you start playing it? Have you played New Leaf, New Horizons? Have you not played it at all? Like, I'm really curious as to what you guys do think about them, because, you know, this is obviously just my opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion with games. I think that's a very interesting thing, and I'm very intrigued to hear yours. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all again very soon.